later. Hi, Leah. Welcome. So as I was saying, and Leah, if you have a yoga block, go ahead and bring it nearby. It's not essential, but if you have one, grab it. We will be doing some forest yoga today, which is a lovely practice. There's some long holds, so take care of yourself. You know, you can release the contraction in the leg during a long hold and come back to it if you need to. And the breath that we use for forest yoga is the Ujjayi breathing. So we're going to take a little moment to learn the Ujjayi breathing. Many of us know it well, but if you don't, I'm going to just kind of walk through it. To begin, we're going to start in a cross-legged seat, seated nice and tall, eyes closed, palms down on the knees. Notice the floor beneath you. Soften the shoulder blades away from the ears. Release any tension in the jaw. Soften the forehead. Allow yourself to come to center. Take a full breath in through the nose and exhale out the mouth. So as I said, the Ujjayi breathing is really the foundational breath of the forest yoga practice. And the breath is in and out through the nose, but we're going to learn it first by using the mouth open. So bring your hand in front of your face and imagine this is the mirror you're trying to fog up with your breath. So you'll inhale through the nose, like you're trying to fog up the mirror. So keeping that constriction that you have in the back of the throat when you try to fog up the mirror, inhale through the nose. And this time with lips zipped closed, try to fog up the mirror with that same constriction, blowing out the nose. Let's try that a couple of times. Inhaling with constriction in the throat and exhaling through the nose. Should almost feel like or sound like rather a wave, or even I've heard people call it Darth Vader breathing, because it's an audible breath in and out through the nose. So that's going to be our breath throughout the practice. We are going to come into our first pranayama breathing exercise. And I'm going to stand up to show the breath, but we're going to do it seated so you can remain seated. It's just a little easier to see. So we'll inhale, nice deep breath through the nose. We're going to exhale out the mouth. And then we're going to pull the belly up and in under the ribs and hold all the air out. Hold as long as it is available to hold, and then release and come up to stand. So that's the idea. We're going to do it seated. And this is really, really great for massaging and nourishing the internal organs. It's like yoga for the internal organs. So from a seated position, hands on the knees. Take a big breath in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. And once empty, pull the belly into the spine and up under the ribs. Draw your chin to your chest and hold empty. Inhale through the nose, sit up tall. Exhale. Again, big breath in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth, completely empty. Belly pulls in, round the spine. Pull the belly up under the ribs, tuck the chin to the chest, and hold empty. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale. 2 more times like this. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Belly pulls in and up, round the spine, chin to chest. And inhale, sit up tall. Exhale. Last round, big breath in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Round the back, pull the belly in. Pull the belly in and up under the ribs, tuck the chin in, really hold all the air out. And then inhale, sit up tall. And exhale. First, bring your left hand to the mat. I want you to spread your fingers wide. So in forest yoga, there's a couple of really intentional focus points. It's the hands and feet and the neck. So you'll understand what I mean about those as we move through the practice. So spread your left fingertips really wide, bring them to the mat. Right arm comes over the head. So it's kind of a rounded position for the right arm. And then release your left ear to your left shoulder. You're still anchored through the right hip. Begin to find your Ujjayi breathing in and out through the nose. Really press into your left hand, fingertips remain spread. Spread through your right fingertips and palm. And then return to releasing the neck, left shoulder to left ear. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Couple more Ujjayi breath. How soft can you make the neck? Maybe lifting the chin away from the chest or finding an angle that works better for you. Opening, softening the right side of the body, the ribs, the armpit. Notice your tendency to turn on the muscles of the neck, so keep returning there and softening. Last Ujjayi breath, in and out through the nose. And then come up, keep your left ear close to your left shoulder, but reach your right arm out to the side, palm facing the floor. So again, we're working on softening into the neck. You can play with the angle, finding the most productive angle for you. Meaning you could lift the chin or draw the chin in further, but think about shortening the left side of your neck and lengthening the right side of your neck. Begin your Ujjayi breathing. Bring a little more awareness to your left hand. Spread those fingers on the mat. Spread the fingers of the right hand as well. Spread the palm. And then return to the releasing intention in the right side of the neck. Ujjayi breathing. Slowly bring your right hand down. Use your left hand to guide your head back to center. So you don't have to really strain those muscles coming up. And just sit for a moment. Notice the right side of the body. Spread your right fingers wide. Place them on the mat. The left arm comes up and over. Bring your right ear to your right shoulder and start your Ujjayi breathing. In through the nose, out through the nose. Should sound like a wave. Spread your left fingers, press into your right hand. Breathe space into the left side of the body, the armpit, the ribs. And then release your right ear a little more toward your right shoulder. Again, you can play with the angle of the chin, finding the most productive angle for your body. In and out through the nose. As I said on the other side, Notice your temptation to turn on the muscles of the neck and support the head. So keep returning to softness there. Might take some practice to let go of the weight of the head. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Bring your torso up a little bit and extend your left arm out and release your right ear toward the shoulder. Left palm facing the floor, fingers are spread. Right fingers are spread and you're pressing into the floor with your right hand. Again, inhaling into the left side of the neck and shoulder. And don't forget, there's a little freedom here to find whichever angle is best for you. Chin in toward the chest or maybe chin lifted. And then once you find a place you want to stay, soften the ear toward the shoulder even more. One more Ujjayi breath. And then bring your left hand down to the mat. Right hand is going to help your head up to center. And just sit for a moment. Notice the left side of the body. Now just switch the cross of the legs, just to switch things up in the body. It might feel a little, you probably went for your habitual pattern, so that might create a little bit of stir in the body. We're going to take a seated spinal twist. Left hand comes behind the spine, right arm reaches up. Take your right hand to your left knee. Keep your chin in line with your chest and begin to open the shoulder behind you. You can keep the chin lined up with the chest if you prefer. Or if you feel you have a nice twist behind the shoulder blades, you can go ahead and turn the head looking over the shoulder. Ujjayi breathing. Last breath. Slowly unwind. Take your time. Coming back to center. Pause. And then take your right hand behind you. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left hand, right knee. And again, keep your chin and chest lined up in the beginning of the twist so that you're really drawing the shoulder back and not placing the biggest part of the twist in the neck. Try and keep the biggest part of the twist behind the shoulder blades. And then once you feel that is happening, you can turn and look over the shoulder if you like. You could choose to keep the chin in line with the chest. Hips are square on the mat. We're sitting up tall. We're really thinking about rotating the spine all the way up into the shoulder blades, top of the back. Spinal rotation. Ujjayi breathing. Very slowly unwind the spine, come back to center. And come onto your back. Take your time coming onto your back. And if you have a block, we're going to use it here. We're going to take a bridge pose, but with the block between the legs. So this just makes it a little more of a core challenge. Bring your block the skinny way. Most of the time, That works best for people the skinny, short way. So you're looking at the short end of the block, and it's the skinniest way between your thighs. Walk your feet back toward your hips. Your palms are facing the floor next to your body, and the fingers are spread wide. Squeeze into your block and lift the hips. Peel up to the highest bridge that you have in your practice and keep squeezing into your yoga block. Press into the hands and palms. Ujjayi breathing. Lift a little higher, squeeze the block a little more. Spread your fingers wide. Soften the neck. And then come down really slowly. Upper back, mid back, and hips. Set your block off to the side. Bring both hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Press evenly into both feet, and then just lift your right knee toward your chest. Peel your head and shoulders off the floor, and turn your whole torso toward that left knee. Flex your feet. Inhale, come back to center, and release. Pick up your left knee, peel the heart up, and rotate toward that left knee, flexing your left foot. Release back to center. Switch. Right knee, flex the foot, spread the toes, elbows toward the right knee, release back to center. Left knee lifts, rotate toward that left knee, flex the foot, inhale, release. Exhale as you switch, belly down, flex the foot, elbows both reaching for the right knee. Release back to center. Lift your left knee, peel the heart up, working elbows, both elbows toward the knee, flex the foot, belly down, and release. Inhale. Exhale, switch. Belly down, flex the foot. Inhale, release. Exhale, switch, belly down. Inhale, center. Exhale, lift. Inhale, center. Exhale, switch. Inhale, center. Exhale, switch. Inhale, center. Last one, exhale, switch. Inhale, center. Release your hands. Bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly, and just take a couple breaths. Second core set, this one's a little more challenging. If you find it too challenging, you can go back to the first set like we just did. You'll just go right back to that. Interlace your fingers behind the head, elbows wide. Now float both feet off the mat and spread the toes. Activate through the feet. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders off the mat. Rotate both shoulders toward the left knee and extend the right leg. Inhale, keep the shoulders lifted, bring the right knee back and switch. Rotate toward the right, your feet are active. Inhale to center, exhale, rotate. Remember, head and shoulders stay lifted, belly down. Inhale, center, exhale, switch. 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 Last one, inhale, center, exhale, switch. Inhale, center, hold, and release the feet, release the head. One hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Breathe. Roll to the side and come back up to a seated position. We're going to do 3 sets of shoulder shrugs. These are great just to have in your tool bag if you tend to carry tension in your shoulders. I'm actually going to turn around so that if you needed to see the shoulder action, you could glance up at it. Sit up tall. Inhale, lift the shoulders toward the ears. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together and glide down back. Big breath in, full exhale. Keeping the shoulder blades at neutral, draw the middle shoulder blades together. So without hiking the shoulders up toward the ears. Inhale, exhale, draw the shoulders down the back and release. Take the arms out to the sides, palms up. Inhale. Exhale, draw your elbows together. This should draw your lower shoulder blades, your lower scapula close together. And then release. Inhale, broad into the back. And exhale. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears and squeeze the upper shoulder blades together. Release the shoulder blades down the back. And inhale, broad, and exhale. Squeeze the middle shoulder blades together. So think about just about the center of your scapula, reaching for the other center of the scapula. Inhale, exhale, shoulders down the back, and release. Arms out, palms up. Inhale. Exhale, draw the elbows toward each other. That should squeeze your low scapulas together. And release. Big breath. Exhale. Last round. Inhale. Shoulder blades climb way up to the ears. And then squeeze the top of the shoulder blades together. And then release the shoulders down the back. Inhale, broad. Exhale. Middle shoulder blades squeeze together. You can keep the hands right where they are. Just squeeze the center of the scapula toward each other. Inhale, exhale, release. Broad breath into the back of the body. Arms out, palms up, elbows draw together so that you're working bottom of scapula together. Inhale, and exhale, release. Big breath into the back of the body. Come on over onto hands and knees. So we're coming into what we call Dolphin Prelude, and then we're going to take Dolphin. So Dolphin Prelude, I want you to take your knees, give yourself some space on the mat, so you might need to back up. Take your knees wide. So depending on the length of your thighs, it could be the width of the mat or maybe a little closer. And then tuck the toes. And if having the toes tucked doesn't feel good to you, you certainly can just have the top of the feet on the mat. And then come down to your forearms and interlace your fingers and take the elbows a little bit wider. And then back your knees up or lengthen your upper body forward and rest your forehead on the mat. And now lift your hands so that the interlaced fingers are behind your head. And you can kind of work around to make this feel okay in the body. As you lengthen into the armpits, expand the Ujjayi breathing. Try not to have too much of a arch in your low back. So think about sending your tail back, tailbone back. Even the belly can kind of pull in. You can contain the front ribs. So if your body wants to naturally go into a little back bend, contain the ribs, you'll feel more stretch in the armpits and the whole shoulder girdle, really. It's a great way to prep for the dolphin pose. And then go ahead and release your toes. Just for a moment, we're going to pay attention to the arms. So we're going to come into dolphin. If dolphin is not for you, you can go back to that dolphin prelude where we just were and work on opening up more into the whole shoulder girdle that will allow this pose to be possible. So you can measure this out by grabbing the opposite bicep or inner elbow. That should be the right alignment. If you have shoulder issues, go ahead and go back to that interlaced hands and slightly wider elbows if you have a shoulder injury. Otherwise, the shoulders should be pretty much lined up with the elbows on the mat and the forearms straight out in front of you. Spread your fingers wide and press into the hands. Now begin to press the floor away. That should turn on all those nice strong muscles in the shoulders, pectorals, all the way around to the back. And then go ahead and tuck the toes and lift the hips, dolphin pose. So some of you may have bent knees here, that's fine. The forehead is not on the mat. That's one thing I see people struggling with this in the pose. If you don't have the muscle strength to hold your head up off the floor, so I'm actually looking down at the mat in between my hands. If that doesn't feel like it can happen in your arms by pressing the floor away from you, then go back to that original dolphin prelude and just work there. We're going to stay for a number of breaths, Ujjayi breathing. If you need to let yourself down and come back, you can. This is one of the best shoulder strengtheners in the yoga practice. Keep pressing the floor down and away, lengthening your tail back away from your shoulders. Last breath. It's okay if you had to come down and come back. Release knees to the mat, and then just come to a Japanese seat and sit for a moment. Returning to awareness in the body. And now we're going to make our way through our sun salutation A. So make your way to downward facing dog. And then just walk up the mat until you find a forward fold. Soften the knees, release the head. Take a breath or two here. Root down through the feet. Inhale, sweep all the way up, and then bring hands to prayer at the center of the chest. Inhale, reach the arms straight up overhead. Palms separate. Little back bend. Exhale, palms come together. Hands trace the front of the body to a forward fold. Hands on the mat. Left foot steps back. Release your left knee to the mat. Release your foot. Feel free to pad your knee if you need it. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck your left toes, step back to plank. Lower, you can use knees, chest, and chin, or lower in one piece. For the forest yoga practice, we take cobra with the forearms down. So the elbows back by the upper ribs, the fingers spread wide, and lift the chest forward and back. So it's a little bit more like a Sphinx pose if you're used to my practice. In forest yoga, they use this for the cobra. Chest forward, long neck, inhale. Exhale, release, slide the hands back, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through. Release your right knee down. Release your right foot. Inhale, arms up. Always patting the knee if you need it. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck your back toes, step forward and fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to bow in. Root down. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Hands to the center of the chest. Close the eyes. Inhale, reach up. Hands separate, little back bend. Exhale, hands touch. Trace the line down the front of the body. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down, left foot steps back. Release your left knee, release your foot. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to the mat, tuck your left toes, step straight back to plank. Lower your way, could be knees, chest and chin, or in one piece. Bring the arms, forearms to the mat, cobra with forearms down, or sphinx as you might know it. Exhale, release. Slide the hands back, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step through. Release your right knee down, release your foot. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Tuck your right toes, step forward and fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to bow in. Root down, inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to prayer, close your eyes. Inhale, reach up, little back bend. Exhale, hands trace the line down the front of the body, forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, this time right foot steps back. Release your right knee down, release the foot. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck your right toes, step straight to plank. Lower your way, all the way to the belly. Forearms down, inhale, we'll lift for cobra with forearms on the mat. Exhale, release, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step through. Release your left knee to the mat, release the foot, inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the mat, tuck the left toes, step forward and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bow in, root down to sweep up. Inhale. Palms touch, hands to prayer, close your eyes. Inhale, reach up, little back bend. Exhale, palms touch. Hands trace the line down the front of the body, forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, hands down, right foot steps back. Release your right knee to the mat. Release the foot. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step straight back to plank. Lower your way. Forearms to the mat for Cobra Variation. Release, hands under shoulders, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step through. Release your left knee. Release the foot. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck your left toes, step forward and fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to bow in. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Reach up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to the center of the chest. Close your eyes. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Keep the palms separated. Bend the knees, sink the hips. Chair pose. Draw your belly into your spine, broaden your shoulders. Breathe here. Pause. Ujjayi breathing, active in the feet, active in the hands. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, hands down, right foot steps back. Open up to warrior two. So spin your back foot flat and find the arms reaching in opposite directions, shoulders over hips. Sink in, belly pulls in, reaching active hands. In this particular practice, we draw the chin over the chest. So normally practicing with me, we're focused to the front of the mat. Here we're gonna have chin over chest, belly pulling in, contain the front ribs, sink into that front hip, and find your Ujjayi breathing. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere that you can soften with breathing. Staying active in feet and hands. We'll revolve this pose. Right hand to the right thigh. We're going to reach the left arm up, flip your palm toward the ceiling. We're going to reach the left arm up and over, just like we did in the seated side stretch. So there's more of a roundness to the arm instead of a straight reach. And now we're going to release the right ear to the right shoulder. And your hand, right hand could be above the knee or below. Most people are going to go for above the knee. Keep a bend in your left knee. Weight sinking forward, soften the knee, maybe lift the chin away from the chest. Coming back, warrior two. Left elbow to the top of the left thigh or left forearm. Right arm can either reach up, or you're going to take the right hand around behind your back and either grab onto your clothing or tuck your fingers into the top of your left thigh. Opening the shoulder, and remember, keeping the chin in line with the chest. Nice strong legs. I warned you these were long holds. Release, take both hands to the mat, lift your back heel, step back to plank. Lower your way, could be knees, chest, chin, or lower in one piece. Bring your forearms to the mat for Cobra Variation. Chest forward, shoulders back. Inhale, press into the top of the feet. Exhale, release, hands under shoulders, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, step through. Spin your back foot flat, windmill up, find your warrior two position. Again, remember, chin is lined up with the chest in this particular variation. Make sure your knee is opening out toward the pinky edge rather than collapsing inward toward the big toe. Get really strong in your feet. Feel how the feet can turn on and support you. And then really reach, spread the fingers, spread the palms, chin lining right up with the center line of the body. So with the belly button, with the chest, with the pubic bone. Ujjayi breathing. When you get bored or you want to give up, just return to your Ujjayi breath. Draw power from that breath. And then we'll revolve. Back hand to the back thigh. Right palm faces up and comes over in this arch. Let your left shoulder soften to your left ear. Sink into the hip. Lift your chin away from your chest. Try that variation. You need to release the contraction in your front leg. Just straighten the leg for a moment and then come back. Building strength and endurance through this practice. And then come back. Warrior two, and go right into the forearm to the right thigh. Left arm reaching up. Or take this left hand behind the back. You can grab your shirt or tuck your fingers into your top of your right thigh, opening the shoulder, lengthening the left side of the neck. Ujjayi breathing. And then release from the bind, take your hands to the mat, Lift your back toes, step back to plank, and lower your way. Once you get there, we're going to take a bound locust pose. So coming onto the belly, rest on your chin. We're going to take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, lift your chest, reach your knuckles back. You could stay here if this is enough, or you can add the legs. Squeeze the inner thighs together, reach the toes back, turn the buttocks on, lengthen the neck. Last breath here, and release. Take your hands under your shoulders and press to a child's pose. Come forward, hands and knees, tuck toes, lift hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step the foot through. Warrior one hips, the left foot comes into the warrior one position. So left toes pointing to the top left corner, anchor through the heel, bring the torso up, bring the arms overhead, spread the fingers, palms face each other, right hip draws back in space, belly pulling in, broad shoulders. Ujjayi breathing. If this is ever too much on your back knee, you can just lift the heel a little bit. If it feels okay in your body, anchor through the heel. Contain the ribs, lengthen through the crown, spread those fingers. Return to your breathing. And now we're going to take the eagle arms and stay with the warrior one legs. Left arm sweeps under the right. Either grab opposite shoulders, elbows stacked, or bind the arms, thumbs pointing toward the nose. So the left arm sweeps under the right, right hip draws back, return to Ujjayi breath. If it feels good in your neck, you can draw your chin toward the chest, forehead toward your hands. Release the arms, take them back overhead. Staying with the legs. I know it's long hold in this position. Hands to prayer. Inhale, lift the elbows. Exhale, left elbow outside the right knee. Lift your back heel. So now you're just in a high lunge position with your back heel. Back heel lifted, twisting, lunge. Ujjayi breathing. Energy in the hands. Energy in the feet. Inhale, unwind. Take your hands to the mat and step straight back to plank. Lower your way. Could be knees, chest, chin. Take your forearms out for this variation of Cobra. Inhale, chest forward, shoulders back, lift. Press the floor away, lengthen the neck. Release. Hands under shoulders, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step through. Warrior one on the right side. Inhale, arms up. Left hip draws back. Anchor through your right heel. Contain the belly. If you need to, use your hands to draw your left hip back to square your hips. It's very important that the hips are not angled off to the right. This is a closed hip position. Arms overhead, spread the fingers nice and wide. Feel a stretch in the palms. Ujjayi breathing, broad shoulders. We're going to take the eagle arms, right arm under the left. Again, grab opposite shoulders or bind the arms, snaking the arms around each other. Maybe one day palms touch, thumbs point toward the nose. This is our eagle beak. Left hip drawing back, anchor through your back heel. If it feels good, you can draw your chin in and send your forehead toward your thumbs or elbows if you're grabbing opposite shoulders. Release the arms, reach up overhead, hands to prayer. Inhale, lift the elbows. Exhale, left elbow outside the knee, and then just lift your back heel. I'm going to wiggle my toes back a little bit for a wider stance. Twisting lunge. Active, palms pressed together with intensity. Lengthen through the crown. Energy through your back heel. Nice, strong legs. Unwind. Bring your hands to the mat. Step straight back to plank. Lower your way. When you get there, we're going to take the full locust pose. So rest on your chin. Take your arms out like a T. Press into your palms, lift your chest. Come to fingers, bend the elbows. Lift the chest and reach your palms back. Or excuse me, hands back, palms face forward, thumbs pointing up. Lengthen the neck and then add the toes. In this practice, we take the toes wide. Toes pointing, legs a little wider than hips. Reach fingertips back, lengthen the neck. Use your breath. Draw power from the breath. And release. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Press back to a child's pose and breathe. Make your way onto hands and knees, and then find downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, step it through. Keep your back heel high. Sweep the arms up, crescent lunge. Right hip drawing back. Weight through the left heel. Contain the ribs, broaden the shoulders. Ujjayi breathing. Sink the hips a little lower maybe. Still nice and solid with these square hips. But you can sink in a little more if it feels good. Knee is over the ankle. Draw power from the Ujjayi breath, in and out through the nose. Now, can you begin to lower your left knee all the way to the mat? Release your hands down. You may want to fold your mat over to pad that left knee. I'm going to go ahead and pad mine. Release the back foot, so the top of the foot is on the mat. And then find 90-90 knees. So front knee over the ankle, back hip over the knee. 90 in the front, 90 in the back. We're going to take a twist here. Take your arms overhead. Take your right hand behind you and take your left hand on the outside of the right foot. And keep your chin in line with your chest. So no need to look up quite yet. We're just trying to open the shoulder. If having the hand all the way down doesn't work, you can take your elbow outside of the knee. But maybe fingertips come down. Now, once you feel like the shoulder's open, you can certainly look up if it feels good, or keep your chin in line with the chest, up to you. Scissor the legs toward each other. Ujjayi breathing. Slowly begin to unwind the spine. Frame your front foot, tuck your left toes, and step straight back to plank. Lower your way. Forearms down, inhale, lift for your variation of Cobra. Exhale, release, slide your hands back, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step through. Back heel stays high, sweep your arms overhead. Active in the hands, left hip drawing back, weight through the right heel, contain the ribs, pull the belly in. Ujjayi breathing, drawing energy and strength from the breath. Begin to lower your right knee to the mat. Bring your hands down, release your back foot. Go ahead and pad the knee. I find it really is nice to have something extra under that knee in this 90-90 position. Start to activate the legs toward each other so there's a bit of a scissoring action in the inner thighs. Left hip draws isometrically back, right hip forward. Take your arms overhead, left arm reaches behind you. Take either the elbow in on the outside of the right knee or maybe fingertips to the mat outside of the, left foot. Right hand, left foot. Now scissor the legs. Keep your chin in line with your chest as you open the shoulder. Once you have the depth of your twist, you could look up if you want. Ujjayi breathing here. Unwind your spine. Release the mat under your right knee. Tuck your right toe and step straight back to plank. Lower all the way down. Could be knees, chest, chin. Forearms to the mat for Cobra. Inhale, chest forward, shoulders back. And then exhale, release. Excuse me. Bring your hands under your shoulders and come just to hands and knees. We're going to come to a pigeon pose. So if you know that pigeon is difficult for your knee, if you have a knee injury, I'll give you a variation. Bring your right knee up toward your right wrist and slide your left leg back. So maybe this feels okay to you. You're welcome to stay on hands. You could come to forearms. You could come forehead all the way down or stack your forehead on top of your hands. If this doesn't feel okay, you're going to rock your weight onto the right hip and bend your left knee and just fold over to the left a little bit. So that'll be more of a Z-shaped seat with the legs bent, bending your back knee and falling onto your right hip is just an option if the full pigeon, supine pigeon pose doesn't work in your body. Activate right hip back, left hip forward if you're in the full pigeon pose. Ujjayi breathing here. Resist the temptation to come out of the pose or to change the pose in some way. Certainly if you have any sharp pain or numbness or anything like that, then you would want to respond appropriately and change the position. But if there's just discomfort or change rather happening in the hip, just tap into breath and stay. Begin to come out of the pose, whatever variation you are in, slide the back knee gently forward and just bring your right knee back for a 4-point kneeling or tabletop. And we'll come to the other side. Draw your left knee up toward your wrist. Let the shin cross the body just a little bit and walk your right leg back behind you. Again, falling onto the left hip and bending the right knee, kind of coming over the shin is an option. Or find your full supine pigeon pose. Could be forearms, could be forehead. Just allow yourself to find a place that change is happening, but that you're able to resist leaving the pose. And return to Ujjayi breathing. Slowly come out of whatever variation you're in. Climb up onto hands, and you're just going to slide your right leg around so that you are on your seat and find your block. We're going to take a supported bridge here. So with knees bent, feet on the ground, find your way onto your back. Have your block nearby. And again, this is not essential. So if you don't have something, no big deal. You're just going to go right into your bridge. Walk your feet back toward your hips. Lift your hips off the mat and just slide your block underneath your hips and underneath the low back. And you can choose for yourself if you want what I call the lowest setting of the block. Feels quite nice. You could go to the slightly higher version, and you can play with where you want the block to be. Or you could come all the way up onto tiptoes and turn the block to the very highest spot. That won't work for everybody, but you could give that a try if it feels or sounds nice to you. I just want you to find the supported bridge that is the most productive for you. So there should be a little bit of space for change to happen, but plenty of comfort as well so that you are able to stay. So if you try this higher one and you think, oh, I could be here for a breath, then I'd have to leave. Then I want you to go back to the one step down because I want you to be able to stay for a number of breaths. Return to Ujjayi breathing. Make space in the neck and shoulders, palms up on the ground next to you. Now, if you don't have a support and you're just holding your bridge, then you may not want to stay quite as long. You'll be working much harder. And you can come down when you're ready. If you are supported, let's take 2 more breaths. Press into your feet to lift the hips, remove your block, lower upper back, middle back, and hips to the floor. Hug your knees in, lengthen your spine. Let your knees fall to the right in any organic way. Let the arms reach in the shape of a T. And if you like, you can turn the head to the left. 3 Ujjayi breaths. Slowly come back onto your back, hug your knees in, pause. And then let your knees fall to the left, any organic way in which they fall. Arms out, chin in line with chest if you like, or turn the head to the right if you like. 3 Ujjayi breaths in and out through the nose. Roll onto your back, hug your knees in. Lengthen the neck, draw the chin to the chest. And then one leg at a time, release into Shavasana. Shoulders under the heart, toes and feet go soft. Palms and fingers are soft. Jaw and forehead are soft. When you're ready, wiggle toes and fingers, roll wrists and ankles. Hug your knees in and roll onto your right side. Pause in gratitude for being willing to jump into a new practice, maybe for you, with open expectation, open mind, and allowing the body to experience new ways of doing things. When you're ready, press to a comfortable seat. Eyes are closed. Palms are pressed at the center of the chest. Whenever I teach forest yoga, I always let folks know that at the end, the teacher sings, and I'm not going to do that because I want you to enjoy your practice today, the rest of your day. But if you ever find yourself in a forest yoga practice, the teacher will sing to you at the end. It's quite lovely. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, forehead to the fingertips. Thumbs to the center of the forehead, and we'll bow as one. Namaste. Slowly come up. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. I'm free to answer questions if anything needs answering.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
That was a whopper of a session, but I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Have a good day.
You
too.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm stuck. Leave.